All right, we're back for round two. I'm going to cut this one quick. We're going to put you guys out on the ice. Broomaholics, or sorry, Double Trouble is just getting out there to start their warm up. I am going to finish eating my dinner. Just wanted to say welcome on in, everybody. Yeah, it looks to be a good matchup. I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but just letting you know, welcome in, and we'll throw you out to the sheet. I'm going to finish my dinner, and then I'll come back for the LSDs and everything else. So enjoy the warm-ups. And there we go. didn't unmute. So what I said was that was a pretty decent LSD. It was about under a meter. So I think Gregory's changing stones to get one that he wants to throw. Or they did both and I missed one because I was still shoving spaghetti into my mouth. Okay, so apparently I missed, I did miss it, so. Okay, so now we're gonna have Broomaholics. They get their 7 minutes of warm-up. I'm going to finish shoving spaghetti into my mouth, and I will be back in a few minutes for the LSDs, and this time I'll try to make sure I catch both of them.
7 minuten, hè? Ja. En nog 30 seconden. En wil je dat nog eens doen?
Hey, Lucas. Just couldn't be without the sound of my voice anymore, huh? They are just getting to the end of their warm-ups. This is Broomaholics. Oh no, this is actually LSD. This is the first LSD. All right, I didn't miss it. So it has. I mean, this curling thing has actually been, the broadcasting stuff has been quite busy. I haven't even had really a chance to get to fixing my PC. There's still something wrong with it. I'm still getting some issues. It always points to a driver thing, but I just don't think that's the right thing. I don't know. It runs. I just haven't had much time between looking for a job and doing this. Now that I stopped working, my last day of work is tomorrow. I mean, I still have to look for a job, but maybe I'll be able to start finding time to stream again. Stream the golf, that is. Okay, so we can get rid of the warming up here. Eve coming in with the team's second LSD. That first one was about a meter-ish, maybe a little bit less. Double Trouble put their first one through, so if this one's even in the house, it's going to be Broomaholics sweeping this one. They want to make sure it gets down there. I actually was talking to Hemo about it. You know, we talked, and it's like his suggestion was to come to YouTube because there's more growth opportunity here. Hang up. Sorry, had to cough. Yeah, there's more growth opportunity here on YouTube than there really is on Twitch. Like, most of the sporting things, they're looking at something and they're showing me the score sheet, which I can't read from here, but they're showing me that it was Broomaholics is getting the hammer. They'll be starting. So yeah, it was just kind of about growth, where we could go with it. You know, whenever we were streaming it on Twitch, like the friends and family of the players here, they didn't know what Twitch was. Most of them aren't really into video games like that or things, so that they were kind of unsure what Twitch was as a platform. YouTube, a lot more people know. It's a lot easier as far as, hey, once a broadcast is done, it's published, you know, and it never goes away until we decide to delete it. Whereas on Twitch, you know, it's maximum 2 weeks that the VODs stay there. So unless you remember to put it on YouTube. So I'm a bit lazy, so this is kind of nice. Because in the long run, also, our monetization isn't going to be what do you call it, subscriptions or donations and stuff like that. Like all of that stuff will be nice, but more likely we're going to build up this brand, this channel, and be able to attract sponsors for it. Because we would like to, I mean, that's ultimately the goal, is to try to help the sport of curling in Belgium and in Europe, is trying to get some sponsors into it, trying to get some sponsors for the league, so to help the national teams go to the European Championships. Because both of our men's and women's teams are at the European Championships this week in Sweden, but both teams had to pay their own way to get there, plus pay for their coach. So it would be really good for the federation to be able to get some money into it so that they can start supporting it and growing it more, because we've also got some junior teams, some kids that are starting to get better, and it'd be nice to be able to send them to tournaments. So long story short, money. All right, Martijn was a little bit heavy on that stone, kind of put it through. So gives an opportunity for Eve with Broomaholics' first stone to draw around, try to get on that yellow. The first end or two, it's always interesting because how fast or slow the ice is. It's like, how well do they adjust during the warm-ups? That one was a bit slow, so it fell early and caught the guard. Kind of opens things up. The next match that I play that we'll be broadcasting is going to be in a couple of weeks. I don't quite have the exact schedule. Things have moved around a bit, but it's going to be no earlier. I think it's going to be sometime around December 10th. That's my quads team, and then my doubles team. I'm actually not sure. I know we have a couple more matches before Christmas. So yeah, we had a match this last week, but I did not play. I was selected as alternate for it, so I broadcast it while I was doing alternate things, which is basically just sitting there and writing things down. Speaking of which, I seem to have misplaced my pen and paper. I try to pick I pick a shot from every match and make a little YouTube short for it to make a shot of the match video to try to help promote and grow the channel and things. And so I have to write down, so I don't have to go back and watch every match completely over again. I write time codes down so I know where to look for decent shots. So if you see something and I don't start talking about it, throw in a hashtag there so that way I can pick it up quickly. Eventually I'm going to be getting to so where I can have it just hit a button on my keyboard. Hey Ben, yep. Good to see you in here. Yeah, we moved the curling over to YouTube. And had a little bit more room for growth on it. We actually started a company around it, my partner and I, called the Curdia TV. We've got an agreement with the Belgian Federation for their media rights, and we're going to try to see if we can turn that into something, because we're having a lot of fun with this, and we're getting, the channel's been growing pretty well. Just started doing it officially this year, so only a couple of months. Yeah, like September, October. So it's only been a couple of months, and it's been going good. We didn't do a big promotion for it because we're still trying to work out some of the technical issues, but we're getting there. We're getting to a point where we feel like everything's getting there. Oh, that would be awesome, Ben. I would appreciate that. we're looking at for like the second half of the season. So after the Christmas break, I think is when we're going to really start kind of putting it there, because I think we've gotten ourselves to a point where we don't feel so amateurish doing this. You know, I mean, I still am. Normally my partner is here and he controls the cameras while I do all the talking. But he's in Sweden with his partner. She's an alternate for the Belgian women's team. So I'm trying to control this and talk and do all that stuff. So I tend to lose track of the cameras all the time. And so while we're not promoting it, I feel comfortable with that. But as soon as we start promoting it, I feel like we shouldn't. I don't want this to be like a super professional, like on television kind of thing where people feel like they can't chat with us, because the whole idea is it's going to be me just talking about the match, but then being able to answer questions and talk back with everybody. So, because I've like totally missed these last couple of shots as far as the camera angles go. Gets rid of one there. I think they were going to try to sneak that around and get those two, but we're getting there. Yeah, thanks, man. But we did some investment on like the cameras and the microphones and things like that, so we really wanted to get it there. But there's a few little tweaks we want to make. So it's probably things most people won't notice, but more for me, more for us, because we want to be able to go to like clubs and tournaments outside of Belgium and be able to show them and say, look, okay, if you want us to broadcast your tournament, this is what we can do. This is how it works, you know, how we work, and the quality that you guys that they can expect. So but I still want it to feel a bit like, you know, my Twitch channel where it's golf and people can come in and they can talk about stuff and things like that. All right, so that guard missed. It's pretty open here, so I think Martijn is probably going to be able to. Uh-oh. One of my far cameras stopped working. The overhead house camera. I might have to go run out and check it in between. But if the battery died, There's not much I can do about it. Well, Gregory indicating it is outside, and it does appear to be that way. It's just not gonna quite fall over and get what they wanted to do, and it's just gonna go out the back. So let's see. This should be last stone. Eve with a open house, already sitting 2. Gonna try to take 3. Now, for those of you who didn't see it earlier, Broomaholics played in the first part of our doubleheader as well, where they lost 6-4 to Curling Stones. And one of the main reasons was they missed a lot of, they left shots out on the ice. They left points out on the ice. So open draw, and they leave it short, just like that. Or too long. So an easy opportunity for 3, and they only take 1 here, or 2, excuse me. So they're leaving another one, leaving it on the table. Yeah. The federation has been really supportive of this. Like, so, Chris, he's on the Broomaholics. He's the taller of the 2. He is basically a social media manager for the federation. He's on the board as well, and so they've really gotten behind this, and they really like what we're doing with it. So it's been a pretty good partnership so far, and I like it. It's been teaching me a bit more about I've been doing a lot of the editing as well. Yes. The yellow team. Sorry, the yellow team. So Chris is the one throwing right now, or just about to throw. So he does all of the social media stuff, and he's been, you know, he reposts it. He's allowed us to kind of they've given us some creativity on how we can do it. No, the yellow team is wearing blue jackets. The red team is wearing red jackets. Did I change the score? No, I put the score right. Yep. But yeah, you get it's you gotta. Sometimes you can't pay attention to the color of the jackets because yeah, sometimes they don't match. We had a match recently where the team throwing the yellow stones was wearing red jackets, and the team throwing the red stones was wearing yellow jackets, and that got confusing very quickly. Ooh, another one just a little too hard. It's just gonna go right on through. This is still that adjustment to the ice. You know, we had a match this afternoon. They redo the ice in between, but there's a difference between what they do in between matches or versus the start of the day. So that the ice behaves a little bit differently. Maybe it would be a little bit faster than earlier. So it looks like the teams are still trying to figure that one out. Hey, this one's just dying. Martin's going to sweep it. I don't think it's going to get all the way through, but it is going to sit in the back of the house and not be counting. Oh, that's cool, Ben. Yeah, my last day at the commission is tomorrow. Unfortunately, the rest of this week I'm busy getting ready for Thanksgiving and stuff. But yeah, I will definitely have some time. We could definitely try to do something, get together. That'd be cool to catch up and have a beer and see what you guys are up to. All right, Martin likes the line. It's just about the weight. He's holding his hand up, feels like it's a bit heavy. It is a bit heavy. It is gonna run onto that yellow. It's gonna hit it nose and just tap it out and sit right there. Oh, but that was not the fifth stone, or that was only the fifth stone, so that stone has to stay in play. Wait, no, that doesn't. No, that doesn't. They're making a mistake here. They already had a stone go through. That was 6 stone. That should have been okay. Yeah, they didn't need to take that stone out. They should have left it in play. Yeah, okay. Broomaholics is letting him know that hang on, I'm gonna go tap on the glass and yep. They figured it out. See, I'm not the only one who's hashtag wrong in this channel. Even sometimes the players make mistakes. So for those of you who don't know, don't follow curling. That was there's a 5-stone rule, meaning you're not allowed to knock another stone out before 5 stones have been played. Well, they forgot that they sent their first one through the house. So they lost count that, hey, there was 5 stones already in play. So that was number 6. So if you knock a stone out of play before those 5 rocks have been played, then you need to put it back and the shooter goes away. So now that needn't be the case. This one looks pretty good. Squeaks around that top guard a little bit heavy, but does enough to knock that knock that red one off the forefoot, so it's opens things up a lot here in the middle there. Yes, yes, and it's only doubles where it's obvious, because in quads, where there's 4 on a team, any stone inside the house, so the circles, is you can take it out. I have tried paddle a couple of times, Ben, but I don't know if my shoulder, like I had to stop playing tennis because my shoulder didn't like it, but I wouldn't mind giving it a try. I don't think, I'd play casually. I'm sure casually would be fine. And with tennis, it's mostly doing serves that really bothers my shoulder, and since you don't do that so high. So this one is just gonna be a little bit outside. Ooh, chance for Broomaholics to do something here with this. Try to set up something in something good. Yeah, I'll definitely have some time in the coming weeks. I'm pretty sure that even if I find something before Christmas, I won't be starting work until January. Unless I take a job like this week, I don't think a company's going to bother with having me come in for a couple of weeks and then have everybody else go on holiday. So they'd probably just say, let's start in January. Well, send me the info. Send me the info, Ben. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at everything right now. So, all right, this one's falling. Is it going to have enough weight on it to get all the way there? That looks pretty good. That's going to come up right into the forefoot, sitting in front of the T line. Protects the button, so it's going to be. That's a pretty nice stone right there. A little bit exposed, but not quite sure what they can do with it other than get it out of the way. All right, this will be Gregory's last stone. So also in yeah, I knew who you were talking about. Yeah, if you guys, I mean, I'm emails open and absolutely send me stuff. And I keep forgetting to change cameras. You guys aren't getting to see the slide out. You see Martijn's hand, he's indicating this is wide. It is going to take out this back yellow. Ooh, no, it actually jams on the red behind it. And so now the 2 reds are outside. The 2 yellows are scoring. You see Eve very firmly plant his broom there, saying we just want to set something up here. Keep a guard in play. Let's see. Look, I'll actually remember to put it out and slide out. I actually should just stop watching the ice live, and I should just start watching the cameras. It makes it easier. I can follow the game better, and I tend to forget a lot less when I go to need to change the cameras. Because if I'm not looking at the screens that have all of the different angles on it, I tend to forget that, oh yeah, it's on an old one and you're not seeing it. But at least I didn't leave everything on like them sliding out. Alright. This one looks a bit wide. Speed is okay, but just too far out there. It's gonna come into the house though, and should be better than the reds. Trying to get a few extra millimeters out of it. So Double Trouble looking to see what their options are. Not sure, you know, they might be able to get on there. They might try to squeeze something pie that top yellow guard. Get back onto this, and maybe possibly do a run back, a double takeout here. they want to make sure that they can try to get in. So they're looking at maybe, you know, sending a shooter off of this stone there. Maybe we can get the picture-in-picture, see if this one's working. There we go. Just get a slightly different angle without Gregory in the way. So they're thinking about tapping, you know, throwing a stone, tapping off that yellow one and rolling underneath, but will it have enough space? Will it be able to stop in the red? That's what they need to. It looks like they need to just get it all the way into the red. Darn it. Just looking at something else. Forgot the rope slide out. Gregory likes the line. I don't know if that's going to fall, if that's going to have enough room to fall. It's a little bit outside. And just slides off. Ooh, runs into that other one. And promotes the yellow. Gives yellow 3. Oh, nope, they're looking at that. It's definitely 2. Definitely 2 for Broomaholics, but they're going to measure that third one, I think. They're going to measure each of those. It looks pretty close, even from the overhead. So, for sure 2, possibly 3. We got our little fancy measuring device. Basically a long stick with a micrometer on it. They, let me see if I can't zoom this in and see. I don't think I can see much here. Yeah, Eve, you're in the way. All right, so I guess it doesn't matter. We're not going to see anything because Eve's in the way. So basically, they slide this micrometer up and down on it, then they lock it in place, slide it up against the stone, and then they look at the number that it reaches, and then they do the same thing over here, and whichever one goes further is in. So looks like red was closer. So 2 for the Broomaholics there. They extend their lead to 4-0 now. Yeah, a little bit of a mistake there on that throw. Just never had a chance. It was a little bit outside. Never had a chance to fall like they needed it to. Stayed on the outside, and they got away with one there, not having it push onto, or having that other yellow be third, giving him an extra point. I promise I have not had anything to drink tonight. Well, I had half a glass of wine with dinner. That's not enough for me to make me forget my words. So something's going on. Maybe I'm having a stroke. I don't smell toast, so I don't think so. Just being my usual self. Okay, so for those of you new to the game too, on doubles, I know we're in round the third end already, but in doubles, they start out with 2 stones already at the play. So the team that won the previous end, or that lost the previous end, has a choice of where they want to put the stones. And if they put their stone in the house inside that red circle, then they get to go second. I have literally never seen anybody else choose the other way, but apparently that is a thing you can do. So the aim of this first stone from Eve is to try to get it around their guard and get it all the way back and freeze up against the red. Freeze means sit and touch it. Well, this one was a bit inside and not heavy enough, so it comes to rest against their guard, taps it forward, and leaves it there. So, if you have a lead who can the lead stone, if you can throw it around and get it onto that other red, it changes the end so quickly because it takes the advantage away from the team with the hammer, like instantly, and it becomes just a really big chess match. But so it's still open, so we're gonna see Martijn try to do the same. He's gonna come around from the wall side. And I forgot to switch the camera. There we go, because I was taking a drink. This one is good. It's going to get into the house. It's going to be just a little bit short. But that's what they want. If they can't get it all the way back onto the to that shot stone there, they want it to be in front of the T line. So the T line's the one that goes through the center of the house from left to right. And so that's where you want. The center line's the one that goes all the way down the middle of the ice. Oh, gosh darn it. Here I am using my hands to explain things like you can see me, and I really just need to pay attention to the camera work here. This one is a bit outside. Eve trying to sweep this one, get it into the house or as near the house as possible. It's going to come into the house. Because they can try to use this later. They can try to, you know, play a raised, a hit and roll. So you hit off this yellow one and roll the stone in underneath the guards. Martijn is looking at his options. They've got that. They either draw it and kind of protect anything, another draw coming in, or do a hit and roll here. And I think the way he's setting up his broom, we're looking at a draw here. But if it is heavy, no, it's heavy. Is that going to fall enough or to get on the inside? That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to get on the inside and let it roll into the middle. Didn't fall enough. Does tap that yellow one out to the edge. Didn't quite get out of the house. But not a bad position for it. All right. Chris is just sending this one down the ice. He wants to try to take these out. So hopefully he can clip the inside of this red one, kick onto the other red ones, but doesn't quite get it. Red hits onto his, knocks it out. Red hits the side wall, so it is out. Shooter spills out the other side. And that's going to leave still two in the house for double trouble. Likes the line, doesn't necessarily like the speed, thinks it might be a little bit on the heavy side. That's going to come down a little bit deeper than they want. And just touches there, but that's still kind of open. I think that, yep. Chris didn't even wait for the stones to really stop. He just went right after it. They're going to try to double these out. This one's sliding a little bit outside, so it's gonna jam. Oh, nope, does get it out. There we go. First shot of the match candidate there. Would have been super if they had gotten three, but pretty good getting two of them out of there. Oops. Sorry, I misclicked on the standings, which are out of date, and also for the wrong league. Can hear a little bit of the communication between the two. Martijn likes the line, so they're just going to be sweeping for the weight. Gregory's asking for Martijn to come out and help him. Now, Martijn is playing with a bit of a bad back, so it's going to be a bit harder for him to do much in the sweeping department, but great stone there. Not quite buried, but still in a really difficult spot to get at. Really nice stone there. And you see Eve and Chris discussing their options, looking to see what they can do. What's their best play here? I think if you look at this, you can still see that they can still come around from the open ice side and draw into the center. So that's always there. And just kind of from the way Eve is looking and setting up, it looks like that's what he might be trying to do. But since I can't see the stone handle, I can't be very sure until he actually starts to move. Release that one pretty quick. So I'm not 100% sure what the aim of that one was. I don't think he was just throwing it away. Maybe he was. No, I think he would have thrown it wider if he was just throwing it away. I thought maybe he was trying to clear out their own yellow. I don't know. That was a curious stone. Not 100% sure where he was going with that. All right. So Double Trouble is probably just going to try to throw a guard up on that side, kind of protect things just a little bit. Just still out on the sweep just for the length. It's going to be quite a bit deeper than they wanted to. Taps that red one in a little bit. That's not too bad. That's not too bad there. Oh, and that was the last stone. So, hey, 3 for... okay, I've lost track of the stones. I really need the new... We've got a scoreboard update coming where it's going to track the stones so I don't get so confused. But that's a big end there for Double Trouble. Picking up 3. Getting themselves right back into this match. It's been pretty close so far. I just think the way that, I guess, yeah, Eve was probably just throwing that stone away. He probably didn't want to take the risk of leaving something there that they could use for backing. On that previous, the next to last stone of that end. But I still think that he should have maybe tried to draw. I would have gone for the draw there. So Martijn opening us up for the in the 4th. It also looks quite wide. They're playing a lot more draw than I think. I think he was outside of the broom because it's also a bit heavy. just carries through the house, but it's in that section where it's out of the house, but not out of play. So it has to sit there. Needs to stay there. It's going to act as backing. So if this one is too heavy and it falls and stops on it, well, that one will stay in the house. This one looks like that's got about the same amount of weight as the other one. So now it's going to just touches it and just stays in play. So it must mean the red one is just touching the line. If that had gone over the line, the yellow one comes out, and then the red one would have gone back to its own position. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room back there, like where that is between the edge of the house and the edge of the back line. So that's got to be just like just touching it by millimeters. Another one that's just slightly too heavy, and also just gonna sit there biting the back of the house. Oh, okay, I just saw we do have the angle here. You can it is just touching that line, like by the slimmest of margins there. Oops. Now, we have already had 5 stones in play, so if this taps out the red or hits the yellow and taps out the red, then it's not a problem. But this is going to fall nicely right there into the button, tapping up against that other yellow. But it's bid open, so this should allow Double Trouble to come in and play a takeout. Looks like that's what they're going to try to do, maybe. I don't know, maybe they're going to try to draw it. Oops. They're still discussing. We'll leave it like that. You can hear Gregory saying you can see just a little bit more than half of it. So they're trying to decide. So he heard him say, I don't know if those of you don't speak Dutch, he said that maybe we should lay it, because if we can draw it into that gap, we can they'll be kind of locked in place. So they're gonna try to draw this around. Line looks good. Needs it to stop. Might be a little bit heavy, but it's gonna hit on that. Ooh, just catches the outside part of the yellow, so it takes it out of scoring position, but is now lying. The shooter slides out a little bit too, so leaving yellow with scoring 1 right now. Yeah, they probably didn't need to sweep that. I think it would have gotten around the guard quite nicely and would have left probably more of a hit on the nose, so it wouldn't have slid so far away. Might have even sat still and would have been laying, probably been lying shot. He's probably going to try to do the same thing here, but they got to sweep this to get one around that guard, and it's just not going to happen. Opens things up there. So right behind Martijn, you have that yellow. You see that one. It's going to open things up, give them an opportunity. They can either draw up against it, trying to sweep to hold this one still, try to make sure it hits the yellow. That's the one they want to get out of the way. That's the important one. Shooter rolls over there and is underneath that guard, so that's a pretty good stone right there. That's definitely one to revisit for the shot of the match. I think one of the earlier ones was better, but that is a very good technically good stone because now it's in cover. This other one's open now. There's not a whole lot of place for Eve to roll this one out of the way. Like if he takes it out, takes out the red one that's sitting in the open, there's not a whole lot of place for him to roll to. He's gonna have to really scream one down there if he wants to try to get it to roll over on top of that red. So I think they're just going to take this one out. Looks like it's just going to sit where it's at. He's going to jam on that red one in the back. Stays in the house, but it falls outside of that yellow one, so not counting. Here, Double Trouble is going to have to try to figure out what they're going to do. Like, where do they want the shooter to end up? They want to make sure that they don't hit the yellow one on the nose, or even on the wall side of the nose, because that would end up jamming on the red back there. But I don't believe that one's going to count no matter what. Alright. Want to make sure this one hits on the inside part of the nose. Now, moves the yellow, or moves the red out of the way, but the yellow falls out of play as well. Red sits open. Now this is going to be an open takeout for one for Chris, but you know he has to hit it. He struggled this afternoon with his takeouts. We've already seen him miss at least one this evening, so gotta look for something there. And I wrote down that time and didn't write down what it was, so I'll look at it then. He didn't follow it down, but it's gonna get the takeout, but it is also going to roll out of play, giving Double Trouble a steal of 1 to tie this matchup at 4-4. A little bit of a mistake there from Chris. You can see he didn't follow the stone down. He didn't like it. He immediately didn't like it. Felt like it just wasn't on the right line. And unfortunately, that gives another one to Double Trouble. We're all tied up. Excuse me just one moment. I need to go take just a quick run to someplace special. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Chris also took a little break there. So, looks like first stone from Double Trouble. Got around, tapped the yellow one out of the way. This one is going to fall a little bit short and just tap the red over a little bit. Kind of just leaving a crossover guard there, or overlapped guard. That's probably the better word for it. You can hear the discussion about where he wants to go. So in curling, we kind of assign zones on the ice by a number. And so Gregory was saying probably trying for 2, but 4 is also okay. Now every team uses, a lot of teams use sort of a standard either 10 or 7 points, 7 zone scale, but some teams are different. See, that one's a little bit heavy. Gotta be careful. All right. Did not push their red one too far out of the way. gonna get around the guard pretty easily. Is that gonna have a little bit too much weight? It does seem to be a little bit strong, so it's gonna go through. Does tap into that red, which taps the yellow one a little bit, gives a little bit of separation. I would show the overhead, but the phone cam that we're using over there apparently died. And I don't want to go out there during the match and look at it. I forgot to do it. I think it died towards the end of the last match, or during in between the intermission between the two matches. So it's an experimental thing. We're putting up some old cameras with some NDI software on there that allows us to use them, but they don't have the greatest frame rate. Only locked at 30, while the main cameras are at 60. So it's a bit of a it's fine for showing like a static image when there's stones in the house and stuff, but white balance is off and things like that, so we can't get quite over the house like we want. So it's probably not going to last very long. It's a real pain to get them up there in the rafters to have a view. All right, so it gets into the house. It's a little bit short of that 4 foot, so it's not going to count better than the yellow, but a little bit deeper. I think it was a little bit deeper than they wanted. Probably wanted that one a little bit higher outside of the house, because right now they've got a chance for a double, and could even potentially, with the right ricochets, could even potentially get a triple out of this. Chris has got some steam behind that one. I think that one's going to be just a little bit too far inside. Nope, does get the double. Oops. Heard the stone hit the hack. Does move the red out of the way. Is no longer counting, but the shooter did not fall inside enough to the 4 foot, so red is still counting. 1 point for double trouble as it stands right now. We can get a front side view of what's happening. Oops. I don't work the cameras often enough, so I'm missing things that's coming. Just gonna try to get Gregory coming out of the hack. Opens it up a little bit. That was a little bit of a mistake. Really didn't want that. Now Chris and Eve are standing both in the way. We can take a look at that, so we can't really see anything. Okay, now Eve's ducks down, so maybe we can at least see that redstone there. We'll just put this one up here so I can send this camera back to its other position. Oops, wrong camera. I don't think we need a real close-up of just Eve's face. No. Other angle won't do us much good because they're standing in the way. This one's not going to get around. Just did not have the weight. So, another steal of one by Double Trouble puts them in the lead, 5-4. Count the stones, fellas. See, they're losing track of the stones worse than I am. That's the problem when we have 8 stones normally. And so there's always one end where there's a couple of extra stones and it throws people off. There's one behind you, Greg. No, Greg, there's 5 reds on the ice. They've totally lost count. I firmly believe they have played 6 stones. They have I think Greg didn't see the stone behind him. Oh, wait, has anything gone out in this end? There's maybe not. Maybe they are right. So, okay, so not one for Double Trouble just yet. But I certainly hope they realize that the Broomaholics have the hammer. He likes the line. Just looking at it for the length. They want this one to come in. Oh, not too hard up against that yellow one. Oh, that is not what they wanted. Be careful, Gregory. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to measure. Yeah, you're not allowed to measure during an end. You can look at it, but you're not allowed to put anything up against it like that. That's, I'm not sure what the penalty is for doing that. And I think it's, in this type of league, it's up to the other team to say it. And usually the first one is probably a warning. Would be my guess. But you heard Martijn say something to him. So now they have the opportunity to score, to try to score maybe, but I don't know how. It's going to be really close between those, that red one and that yellow one on the 4-foot. So they got to be careful if they want to drop this, hit this red one, that it doesn't run back and hit the yellow. This might be a case of throw it away and let's measure, or I don't know. I don't know. This could be trouble, could be danger. And it was. I get what they were trying to do, but it was a really risky shot, and that was the big risk, that you hit it on the top and that the red stays there. They were trying to score multiple points, trying to get both of those reds out of there. Unfortunately, went straight back onto the other red and sit score. So now Double Trouble has stolen one in this end and has taken the lead 5-4 after 5 ends. We definitely have to look into maybe putting a set of lights on the scoreboard or something like that, where so I can control what stone it is and then they can see what stone it is. And but for now, we just have to go with the lighthearted moments where we lose counts. These things happen. I'm here at the facility, Lucas. At some point, I do want to get it set up so that I'd be able to commentate from home, because sometimes I'm bored. Or not bored. I'm lonely here. There's no. It's the 5 of us are the only ones in this building, and all 4 of them are out there. So, but it would be nice to have some sort of remote feed possibility to be able to do commenting on stuff. Or even just be able to control the cameras when we have, because we've had international teams express interest in coming here and training because we have the recording capabilities, because a lot of teams, European teams, have, their coaches aren't from here. So like the Spanish national mixed doubles team, their coach is Canadian and lives in Canada. So every once in a while they fly him out here for training, but it would be nice that if, for them, they could just, you know, we could set up like sort of a private live stream or a recording or something like that. But then that way I wouldn't need to come down here to set everything up and stuff. If we had permanent fixtures for the cameras, we could do that, and I could just control it all from home and then do the broad commentary as well. Whoops, forgot to change cameras. Very nice stone, but with that... Oh, well, see, now this would have been ripe for a double takeout, but still have not played 5 ends, so we're... they cannot just knock this one out of the way, so they're going to have to try to... Looks like they're going to try to draw in and get something better. Now, they can move those yellows from where they are, but they have to stay in play. So if they were to, say, tap that topmost yellow one and it goes out to the left side with out of the house but still in play, that's okay. So it only applies to taking it out of play. But yeah, Lucas, I have some big ideas for some of the technology stuff we want to start doing with this, and one of those is absolutely being able to do remote feeds and remote broadcasting, because it'll make it easier if we start doing remote tournaments. Like the curling club in Luxembourg has talked to us about potentially broadcasting one of their tournaments, and it would be nice if we had a camera set up there that I wouldn't need to drive all the way out to Luxembourg to do it. This one looks really good. This was going to tuck in right nicely on that back one. It is going to be a little bit further than that other yellow. Maybe it's close. From this angle, we just don't have that up above camera angle, so this is as close as we get. And so it's not perfect, but that's very close between the red and the yellow there. But the red is a really solid position, because trying to take it out would very likely take that yellow out behind it. So it's not likely something that Broomaholics are going to try. Very likely what they're going to do is try to draw themselves, do that same shot, draw right into the same spot, and sit just in front of that red one, use it as backing as well. So this one is tracking. Looks like it has a pretty good line. Just trying to sweep it to get it all the way down there, make sure it comes into it. And it does. Very, very nice stone there from, was that Eve or Chris who played that? Shoot. I start paying attention to the stones and then forget to pay attention to the, who throws it sometimes. Gonna put that in my consideration. We'll take a little note of the time. So you can see here, Gregory, they're just gonna try to do a double takeout. They're just gonna try to throw one, hit right in between those two yellows. You can see Martin's pushing out with some, or Gregory's pushing out with some speed. He wants this one to fall. You see Martin trying to sweep the air. Not gonna quite fall enough. Clears out their own red, one of the yellows, but both those top yellows sit there. And so now that's going to give Broomaholics an opportunity to put a guard up in front. Try to put a little protection in front of it, make it a little bit harder to go at. There's not a bad shot there, but that needed to fall over another like 15 centimeters, six inches or so. Just get to that other side of the nose of the yellow. You know, it does clear things out. This, I mean, it's, I want to say, you know, Eve just has to put a guard, but that's not always been easy. They've been struggling with some of their weights, both teams tonight, either too hard or too light. So, and sometimes it's the easiest shots that are the hardest to get right. They're sweeping it straight away, so they either don't like the speed, and yeah, this one definitely is light. They're trying to make sure it gets across the hog line, so at least gets into play. Give it a chance to fall over. You really want this one to be planted right on that center line. Not quite where they needed it to be. It needs to be about a half a stone more over, as it does give Double Trouble the opportunity to come around from the open ice side. It could still potentially get both of them. You can see both the stones are sitting like right on the tee line. So just kind of drawing in onto them is not as much of an option because, well, it won't score you any points. Fall maybe a little bit too much. Yep, doesn't quite. It needed to be just a little bit more to the outside to try to move that center yellow out of the way. They do get rid of one, but yellow is still lying shot. Now, from where I see the stones, a takeout of that red is going to be a really tricky one because if they're on the outside, it probably runs into that yellow. I was looking at Chris tapping his broom up there, so very likely going to put a guard. They could try to draw in or even do kind of a hack weight to try to get in on that to the inside edge of the red and move it out of the way that way, but there's just so much risk there that if it falls too much and misses the red, then it hits their yellow away, or if it doesn't fall enough and it hits the red, it could knock the yellow away that way too. So going to look to see what they're going to go for here. I think from what I saw, they're probably going to go with a with just a guard, little light draw guard. But as anybody who has watched this channel before knows that I am very often hashtag wrong. So let's see. If these guys took a little bit more time between between shots, I'd consider trying to run poles and stuff, but there's usually not enough time. Seem to be okay with the weight on this one. And even freezing up against it would be okay. I believe yellow is still shot. And it's pushed it in such a way that if there's any chance red would be shot, anything touching it would move it out of the way, or move it out of that position. So Gregory and Martijn try to figure out what they want to do with this one. Kind of see what it looks like from here. It's not going to be easy to come around from the right side, so they're looking at coming from the left. And can they get on it enough? They don't have to move that yellow one very far to score, but as you can see up that left side, it's a narrow gap. See, this is where I'd want my telestrator, Lucas. I'm going to be working on trying to get that going too, and figure out how I can do a telestrator on this so we can start drawing arrows and things like that. I think I heard Greg say it's outside, but if they sweep it and it hits on the outside, maybe that can push it in. Is that going to have enough weight behind it? Oh, and not quite enough angle either. Oof. Now, it does take a little bit out of that. I think that just moved into third shot. So what we're likely going to see here, I think, is you're going to see double trouble. Try to hit on that yellow, tap that red one out of the way. That should give them 2. It was actually, for a missed stone, that actually turned out to be pretty good for double trouble. It actually did leave them second and third, so it makes it a little bit more difficult. So now Broomaholics is only trying to score 2 and won't be able to score 3. Now there is something if they wanted to try something crazy, but it's probably not worth it. They could come up the wall side, hit that stone that was just played on the inside. If it has enough weight and hit at the right angle, it could carry over and kick both that other red out of the way. But that is such a low percentage shot that I'm not even sure it's It might be possible. Looking at it, the angle, it might be possible. This one, just too far outside. Would have been a decent weight, but just too far outside. Never fell. So that is one for Broomaholics. Ties the score up at 5 heading into the 7th end. Had some pretty good curling today, a little back and forth in both of these matches, so it's been pretty, you know, the last match went down to the last stone, so maybe we'll get that same thing here. It's looking like it. You know, we've got 2 ends left, all tied up, so... Now, a little bit, you know, Broomaholics again they've left points out on the ice there. I don't think that was an easy shot by any means, but that certainly wasn't a great attempt at it. Oh, I guess I don't need the double. We can do the far. Interesting. Another technical rules violation. You know, Eve was looking at his phone out on the ice. Not supposed to do that, but very unlikely he's getting coaching. He was probably just checking his messages. But yeah, you're not supposed to have any electronic devices out on the ice where you can communicate 2 directions. You're only allowed to communicate off the ice, but not to back on it. So like they could have microphones so their coaches could hear them, but the coaches couldn't be able to have, they couldn't have earpieces in so the coaches could talk back. Well, this one is going to be a bit inside and a bit light, so this one's just going to stack up on that yellow one. Taps it forward, they're going to sweep it into the house. She got a lot deeper than I expected it to, but looking for a guard straight away. Double trouble playing a bit conservative in this end to start. Likes the line, but it's a bit heavy. It might actually be through. That's just something you don't want to have happen, is when you have an open shot. It doesn't go through all the way. Maybe I should wait until it stops before I say that. So didn't go all the way through, fortunately, but that's just not the right weight for that stone. The long, slow walk down to the other end to throw his stone. So he's on the sweep, just trying to get this one to turn. Chris comes down, tries to help him out, tries to get this one all the way down. This one looks like it's going to be just right there on the button. That's a very nice shot. Very nice shot, sitting right there on the button. A little bit in front of the tee line. So I think since that's the fifth play at the end, fifth stone in the end, and it's going to very likely end up with Gregory trying to do a little hack weight, take out, hit it on the side, get it out of there. Calling for him to sweep it hard. Getting around that guard, just maybe touches that guard a little bit, but it doesn't change too much. And taps it back. Pretty good stone from Gregory there. Unfortunately, didn't get that to move. It needed to fall just a little bit more inside, but I think because it was a little bit lighter on weight, they had to sweep it, which kind of holds it straighter. But pretty good shot to squeeze one right through, right by the guard there. I mean, I think it even tapped the guard slightly. Just the slightest little kiss. And I think with that stone, well, let's see what they're going to do. They might try to draw this right on top of it, try to guard it out. This one feels a bit wide, and yeah, not sure that's going to fall. Oh, that's going to fall nicely. That's going to just stop right in the way. Kind of takes out that draw again. It puts him in a little bit of a pickle here. See Martijn trying to figure out what kind of angle he can use with that yellow one, running it back. Now the thing is here, there's definitely a lot of angles and playing defense and things like that. It's very much like snooker. You really have trying to find angles, trying to find ways you can bank in off of things. This one feels like it might be a little bit outside. Yeah, Martijn's hoping that it falls, but you know, had a good weight, just a little bit too far outside. Now, it's not necessary here for Double Trouble to be too concerned, like, about trying to score. Because at this point, Broomaholics can score only one. And that would give Double Trouble, they'd be down by one, but they would have the hammer going into the last end. Now, it always feels kind of better mentally to have that advantage going into the last end, but it's not the worst case scenario. And the way the stones are set up right now, it's going to be very hard for Broomaholics to score more than one. All right, so this one short and wide, and it kind of takes away that wide draw, but I'm not sure that was really ever there. There's very little way to get in from the outside into the house, into the button, because you've got to be all the way in that center white spot. So let me see. Maybe I'll put the opposite end on so we can see it. So here you can see what the what Gregory is looking at as a shooter is just all that yellow in front, that yellow tucked in behind their own red. There isn't really a lot of place for them to go.
Uiteindelijk gaat hij luisteren. Er is 5 minuten tegensprint.
See if I can zoom a little bit in. Whoops. Oh, no, that was right. Shoot. Oh, well. We're missing the slide out. So trying the same thing again, trying to tap that yellow one back. This one seems to be a little bit better, but unfortunately it's going to catch their own red. But it's still, again, not the worst thing in the world. I mean, that actually helps them, because now there's no way that Broomaholics is going to try to do anything to move that red back. They're not going to send anything back into the house. They are... It's, yeah, there's no protection because that other red one was holding that yellow one in place. So Broomaholics was fine with that. But now they're definitely not going to put anything into the house here. They're not going to try to move anything. They're just looking to see what they can do to prevent double trouble from running something back into that red onto their yellow and stealing the end here. So Gregory may not have been happy with that. It may not have been what they were trying to do, but it wasn't it wasn't terrible. So very likely Eve here is just going to try to protect. He's just going to try to put up a guard. Try to prevent double trouble from having any way to get rid of their yellow. This one is possibly a little bit too hard, but not going to be hard enough. It's going to tap it back into the 4 foot, but not there, so... And so now, and actually that red one being right there, getting tapped back, that's going to hold it in, that's going to prevent it from being used as something, I'm losing my words here. It's going to act as kind of a guard. So basically, if that yellow one gets sent back, it's going to end up preventing it from being knocked completely out of the house. So it looks like their option here. I'm on the wrong camera. Is to try to tap that yellow one back into their red one. Back into the yellow one to score. And that could potentially score 2. That could potentially give them 2. doesn't need to throw this very hard. But it does need to have enough weight to get the yellow onto the red and then get onto that yellow and move it outside of the red, outside of the 4-foot circle. Too far outside, a little bit too heavy. It's not gonna catch it enough. All right, one yellow, one for Broomaholics, giving them the lead going into the last end, but Double Trouble now has the hammer, so they will have the last stone again. So this one, I feel it's going to come all the way down to that last stone. So just 10 more stones to play. We're going to find out who's going to win this match. So pretty good. We've had some pretty good curling today. We've had things come all the way down to the last end, the last stone. So in both matches, so pretty nice day. Pretty good way to end a doubleheader. This is the last match we're broadcasting for the next couple of weeks, with the national teams playing in Sweden at the European Championships this week. It's sort of like a hiatus. We don't have a... We're missing quite a few players from the league for that, so we're no more matches until I think December 4th is the next one. I'll have to look up the schedule, but I do know that there's nothing this week. We actually are having a curling club from the south of England, from Kent, coming to host a tournament here next weekend. But as I will be celebrating Thanksgiving 2 days late and watching my Ohio State Buckeyes beat Michigan Wolverines in football, I will not be able to broadcast that first day, and I probably will not be feel like in the mood for broadcasting on the second day. So just gets in to bite the front of the house. Let's see what Gregory does this time. Last end that this happened, he's calling a guard. I kind of feel like they should be trying to put this one on the button. Take advantage. Try to get down there instead of trying to protect this one. They need 2 to win. And if they can put that second one there... Line was okay, just the speed, it just really seemed to like fall off right away. A little bit short, still leaves it open for Broomaholics to draw something around on there.
Ja, 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 dat volg ik nu. Ja, ja. Dat zijn gewoon de manier dat jij dan doet om voor te vegen, dat je van hoe, ja. Doe maar.
They're going to come down the same side. It's going to curl, but it's not going to have the weight. It just ticks off the stone there. Comes to rest on the center line, but still short. making their strategy for where they want the stone to stop. So for them, this is 3.5 or 4, what they're looking at. You hear Gregory calling it out 4. They really want this one to stop and to fall. They don't want to get all the way down there. Want it to be above the tee line like that. They really actually wanted this to be just a little bit higher. They wanted it to be just inside that yellow one as far as depth. And that way it would prevent Broomaholics from doing something with it. It's a little bit open. They could still, they could potentially do a double takeout here. It'd be a pretty good shot. I don't know how much they're actually able to see of it. Oops, wrong camera. Never mind. They had the intention of going after that, doubling it out just a little bit inside. So breaks open the guard, loses things out there. So this is going to give Double Trouble the opportunity to guard this one off as well. And now that they sit too, they don't need to come in deeper than the yellows. They want to actually leave this one a little bit further outside the house where Martijn is pointing. Would be ideal. Looking to see if that's an option, and it is, but you've got to kind of look at what is the likelihood of that shot being made. You know, if they do make it, then great, but I think you gotta look at what's the higher percentage shot to make and block that off first. Force them into taking these low percentage shots to try to score. Well, and if they manage to score, then hooray for them. You know, this is there's only so much that you can't block everything at once. So I think they've decided on the guard here. This looks a bit heavy. It's gonna be a little bit too much. It might actually help them out, tapping this one a little bit over. Ooh, there is still a double possibility here. They can use that's outside red to kind of hit in and take that red on the button out. They can't go directly at the red on the button, so that's not a bad place. But this is still a makeable double here. You can see it from this angle. If they just hit about like the, say, 2 o'clock marker on that outside, that top red one that I'm pointing at with my cursor that you guys can't see, that could potentially get on over there. It would take that one out. The shooter would kick over into that middle one, kick that one away, and then would be lying. Broomaholics would be lying 1. Ooh, is it going to fall too much? Is it going to catch it? It does. Wow, what a shot. What a shot. Yeah, you heard it. Shot of the match. All right, but it does sit out in the open, so this is a possibility for Double Trouble to just tap it out of the way, roll over underneath everything, and then you're looking at a really tough one. So yeah, it is. It's been it's been pretty good. Both matches we've had today have been really tight. This one is the same. It's coming down to like the last stone. And that was a really good shot by Eve. I think even though it leaves it outside, that was a pretty good shot. So this needs to get around the guard. It needs to get around. It does not. Oh. Oh. So now Broomaholics have to use their last stone to try to figure out. They're going to have to try to protect this. So you saw Chris and Eve kind of tap their brooms. Eve's wants to bring one in closer, but Chris wants it up higher. And higher makes more sense because if you're higher up, the longer the distance between the two stones when you have to try to do a little run back takeout means the more precise you have to be. And so if you're off just a little bit, the longer distance that run back stone has to travel, the more off it will be. So yeah, you definitely want to put that up, because if you put them down too close, then you run that option of the takeout. Oops, sorry, I missed the slide out here. This one is a bit outside. Weight was good, but that is just not going to fall. That's going to leave it way open. So, here it is. The last stone of the match. If Martijn can get this yellow away and hold the shooter just has to stay, looks like, all the way in the white, all the way in the 8-foot. That'll give them the win. They lose, if they get rid of this stone and lose the shooter, well, then it's a draw. They miss this shot, and it is a Broomaholics win. So it all comes down to this stone. It would be cooler if this was like in April, when it's like the last weekend of the season, and it would be the deciding stone for the championship. But it's late November, mid-November, and it's still very early in the season. But every match counts, and so you know, this is it. feels a bit heavy and outside. Nay. Oh. No. So it's 1, 2, 3 for Broomaholics. Down to the last end. Oh. Just on the outside. Came down to that last stone, and unfortunately he was just a bit wide. But man, what a matchup. That has been pretty some curling we've had today. That was just a great way to end it. Both matches coming down to the last stone. That one right there, I mean, you saw that was just a matter of centimeters. If it was a little bit more to the inside, that would have been we'd be talking about a double trouble victory. But instead, it's a Broomaholics splitting the doubleheader, losing in the first one, coming back to win in the second, and really improving their positioning on the in the doubles leaderboard. I don't have the official leaderboard, so I don't know exactly who is what and where, because yeah. But it's still early days. I think this was probably like the first couple of matches for Broomaholics, and I think Double Trouble has only played one match since then. So, like, the double season is spread out, starts in October, goes all the way through to April, and they spread it out, so it can be quite. Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more matches played in the second half of the season than in the first half. So. But man, really good curling out there. We saw a lot of points left out on the ice, but overall, really tight match going back and forth. Both teams making mistakes, taking advantage. I think Eve's shot for that double takeout at the end there. That one's got the lead in the shots, but I'm gonna go back and look at everything. But it's gonna be pretty hard to beat that. So. Hey, everybody who stuck around and watched us all day today, I appreciate it. We try to bring you the best in curling and curling entertainment here from Belgium, and hopefully beyond. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get some tournaments and other leagues signed up, and we'll be able to start traveling around Europe and do broadcasting this. But appreciate everybody being here. I have talked for 5 hours straight now, so I'm going to sign off and rest my voice, maybe have a beer. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Lucas. And if you have any questions, really, I try to explain it as we go, but if you see something you're not sure of what it is, feel free to ask if it's me or if it's my partner Pim when he's here. We read every comment. We try to answer any questions anybody has. Jokes, concerns, all of that stuff. But thanks for hanging out, Lucas. I appreciate it. I'll see you sometime this week. We'll probably let's try to get something together. I'm gonna try to get some gaming in while I'm off work. So I'll let you in. Ben, thanks a lot for hanging out too. I'll see you next time as well. Send me those emails. We'll definitely set something up for coming up weeks before Christmas. We'll try to get together for a beer with you and Loic. That would be awesome. But thanks again, everybody. Next broadcast is not until early December, but you can keep watching content here on the channel because I keep putting out the shots of the match. I'm actually backlogged from last weekend, so I've got a couple of more shots coming up. We've got the shots coming up here. I might try to post some condensed games just to test out some editing and things like that. But, we'll see. So just keep your eye on the channel. Keep your eye on the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, we're all over it. I'm not doing TikTok because, well, there's just no curling there. It was just people stealing stuff. So, all right. So thanks everybody for watching. Say goodbye, Greg.
Bye.